But you know, God offers to us that same evidence that demands a verdict. Josh McDowell wrote a book called Evidence That Demands a Verdict. It's about this thick. It's plain print. It's heavy reading. But when you're done reading it, you go, I don't have a choice. I need to believe. It's true. And God offers us that same evidence. And as with Thomas, God does not condemn us when we have doubts and questions. Matter of fact, God welcomes our questions. Because without questions, how do we get answers? Remember, if you've had a 2-year-old, or if you've been around 2-year-olds and they ask you a question and you tell them, and then what do they say? Why? And so then you tell them again, and what do they say? Why? And you tell them again, and they say what? Why? Exactly. They, and we don't go, grow up! We get tired of it, but, we expect them to go through that stage because they're learning so much. And so God doesn't condemn us when we have doubts or questions. He welcomes us to ask those questions so we can have those doubts answered. Jesus offers to us through His Word and the lives of others that same indisputable proof that He is the Lord, the Messiah, and God Himself. And if you were to really search out history, there is more evidence that Jesus is who He said He was than that Plato or Socrates ever lived. Now, most people have heard of Plato and Socrates, and they believe that they're real people, but they want to doubt that Jesus ever lived. But there's more evidence for Jesus. And just as with Thomas, we too need to make a confession of faith regarding Jesus. Thomas confessed publicly before his friends that Jesus is Lord and God. Now, if you were baptized as a baby, which some people have been baptized as babies, it was done publicly, brought before a congregation and publicly being baptized. If you ever got married, it was done publicly in front of family and friends. Even if you went to a justice of peace, there had to be a witness. It was done publicly. And that's why when we give an invitation to come to the altars up here to receive Christ into your heart, we ask that you do it publicly. To say to be Lord and Savior of your life. Now you might say you need proof of Christ's resurrection. And if you look hard enough, you will find it. You might even hear God speak to you directly or even see Jesus. I don't know how He's going to do it, how He's going to reveal Himself to you. But people who really seek God find Him. In Muslim countries, these Muslims who truly seek God, not seek a form of religion, but truly seek the Creator of the universe, Jesus reveals Himself to them. And they renounce Islam and turn to Christ. Without a missionary even going, they find Jesus because they seek Him. I don't know what He will do, how He'll reveal Himself, but Jesus is in the transforming business. And with Thomas, He said it pretty simply. He said, because you have seen me, have you believed? Blessed are those who do not see and yet believe. Now, if you've ever had a child in your womb, that child trusted you to carry your term. That child put its faith in you as a parent for love and care. And then when you're born, when that child is born, it continues that trust. It doesn't go, I don't like this thing, I'm leaving here. You know, continues to trust. And then Daddy picks up that little guy and he starts going, wee, wee, right? We throw them up. We don't, now when we get older and our kids start doing that to our grandkids, we go, oh, don't do that. I don't know, something about it, when we do it ourselves, it seems easier. But you know that Jesus said we need to come with childlike faith. Come to Him that way. And when we do that and receive Him into our hearts and lives, He says we will be blessed. We don't have to see to believe. We can believe without seeing. But when we believe, we will begin to see Christ as He works in our lives. I was just talking to somebody the other day that received Christ recently, and they were telling me the changes that they are starting to see in their life. You know, the things at work even, where normally they get upset about something, they're not so upset. You know, they let it go now, where before they just turn on the person. They begin to see that Jesus is alive in their life. You also may have doubts about your past. People do that. I mean, if you were to open the book that has everything written about your past, you would say, how could God ever forgive this? How could God ever allow His Son to die on the cross for these things? Because it goes page after page after page. That's my book. Page after page. Can God really forgive X, Y, Z? He can. And He will. And does God really have a plan for your future? He promises that in the Bible. He says, behold, I know the plans I have for you, plans that are good, plans that will prosper, plans for well-being. He has these plans. The answer to them both is yes and yes. He wants to wipe the doubt away with a great big yes in your life. Well, this morning we're going to sing our closing song. It's going to be on the screen. It's The Savior's Waiting to Enter Your Heart. It's a song of invitation. A song of saying, okay, there's my past. I want to lay it down. At the county home last week. Yes?
Can we go back to 3C, where Thomas was wandering in the wilderness? We didn't get that part. It went a little too quick.
Okay, 3B.
3C.
C. It says, Thomas gets up from his wandering in the wilderness of life to being restored and resurrected to new life in faith.
Thank you.
Sometimes I go. Last Sunday afternoon, I was at the family care facility. They got younger people there now, some 20 and 30-year-olds, a lot of new ones we haven't met before. And when I gave the message out there, I talked about that past, leaving the past behind, because many of them are there because of their past. I talked about how Christ has an empty tomb, that we can take our past and we can put it in that empty tomb, and we can leave it there. And when we leave it there, we come out resurrected and new. And 5 people raise their hand saying, I want that in my life. Maybe that's what you want in your life today. If you have those doubts, bring them to the altar. Maybe you don't know Christ as Savior. Come to the altar. He will meet you here. He will find and fill you with His Spirit here. Let's stand as we sing, The Savior is Waiting to Enter Your Heart. Turn down just a little bit. wrestling with this decision. May they find peace when they find that place, when they find Jesus. I pray in some ways, God, that you would make them miserable, as you made me miserable in my life until I surrendered to you. The Lord, when they open up, will come in and you will wondrously transform. I pray you would help them in this. In Jesus' name. You're dismissed, or you can pray quietly for those that are here.